Alright, now, I did a video on this way back when I first made it. And it goes back a while, actually. But this is when everybody was doing Kydex holsters. And I was finding the hardest part. I made a vacuum table. I made two of them, actually. And it worked okay, but I didn't really care for what it was doing. So I decided to not to continue with the vacuum table, which I still have it someplace. But what I did was I made this. This is a Kydex press. I put the straps on it, and I'll tell you, it works. Now the only problem I have with it here is I gotta cut the cable a little shorter because it interferes. But it works fine just like it is, actually. So what I had done was I bought some of the Kydex stuff, not the Kydex, but the rubber. I bought this from that knife supply or whatever it is. And I bought a hunk of that, as you can see. And then I made myself a strong base. Now the base is actually two pieces. Hello. There we go. It's two pieces of ply, two different sizes, and then I bolted it to these, which are bolted down to the table. If I don't want to bolt it, I can unscrew it, and I can use this to clamp it to the table. There's one on each side, so I can clamp it down to the surface. I'm not using it to clamp. I'm using the clamps to use to put the wood together, the Kydex. What I did was I made the top the same way using two pieces of ply, and then I made it rounded, and I channeled it, where are we? Right here, so that the straps fit in there. Now why I did this is to give it even pressure, because if I hadn't had this and I just had it crossed, it didn't want to give me the even pressure across the center as much as it did on the sides. So by doing it this way, it gives me even pressure across the whole pad. So I may, well actually I do have to do a holster, but I gotta order some Kydex first. So, but meanwhile, what I would do is I would heat up the Kydex in the toaster oven, which is over here. I'd heat it up slow, and I would put it here. First I would spray a little gun oil on this, by the way. Then I would put my Kydex down, fold it over. If I'm going to just have two pieces, one piece down, spray the firearm with some oil, put it down, put the other piece on top of it. Then this would go on top of all that. And actually this goes a lot quicker than what I'm doing now because I'm showing you. I would put the straps over here. So instead of dealing with all those clamps to make sure it's nice and even, and I'm sure that works, I decided to use the straps. And to me, it works just as well, if not better, in my case. And I can tighten it down to wherever I want it to be, and let it sit. Done. And that's kind of how you do it. Now I can make it tighter if I want, but you know, there's only so much that you want to do because you don't want to start making it so tight that the Kydex is getting into places to where it's going to be hard to remove the firearm. And then when I'm all done, I just take these, push these down, and it releases. Release them, open it up, and I'm done. Now the thing is, right now I'm not using it, so it's taking up valuable space. So I'm thinking of possibly just unbolting it, hanging it up, and when I need it, I can bring it over, put it on top of the table saw, clamp it down using a couple of clamps. Using a couple clamps. I don't have a lot of them, but I'm going to need some more. And at that point, just work it. When I'm done, hang it back up. And I think that will probably be the way to go. But it's definitely, in my opinion, it's a nice unit. It works well. And not just because I made it. I just think it was a pretty decent design. Now, I guess if you wanted to, you can hinge the back. You know, if you had a large type of a hinge. But it would have to be an adjustable hinge. So this way here, it works just as good. And I think this is the way to go. So I can make it even, and I can put in whatever I want, whatever the thickness is. So anyway, I figure I just do another video on it. For those of you who may not go way back in my archives of crappy videos. And I figure I'd give you a show, see how it looks. And at that point, there she be.